Aaron Judge is a better version of Brock Lesnar.
What is something you love as much as the Charmin Bears love wiping?
As an opposing fan, you could probably see his face and want to sock him between the cracks. Good evening and welcome to Losses Above Replacement, the greatest baseball podcast in greatest years. I'm today's host, Matthias Altman-Kursaki, and with me, as always, we have my amazing co-hosts, Ryan Splash Potts and Alex Clark. First things first, Splash, excellent intro. For those of us watching on YouTube right now, watching live, that is the debut of our new intro that Splash put together, so that was excellent. But as we begin every show, how are we doing on this fine Wednesday evening?
You know, it's always a good time when we get a new intro and get something new to show the fans. And also, like you just said, this is our first live podcast here. Going forward, we're going to try and do this more. But at the same time, doing this actually live and planned I'm excited for it. So other than that, just on a personal note, doing pretty good. I'd say overall. You saw Gigi a moment ago. She's now being shy. But no, I'm just waiting for when Eugenio Suarez is going to sign. Please, I need it in my veins. Please.
Yeah, fair. We are the last podcast to wish you a happy New Year. It is our first recording of 2026, so some of us are happier than others. I do need to change my name on stream, but that's okay.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe a little bit weird there.
Okay.
The Seahawks won, though. They have the 1 seed.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, fun times. Fun times.
Yeah.
Man,
some things, I guess.
I am sorry, man.
So yeah, I'm doing all right, I'd say. It's it's just me and my sister home right now. My parents went to visit our nephew out in California. They're only there for a couple days, so I opted to stay back. But yeah, I'm just chilling, waiting for more baseball news. I know that there's still a lot of big free agents on the market right now, so we'll get into that in a little bit. But first, we are going to do our question of the day. And Alex, why don't you tell us today's question of the day?
Yeah, so you've just brought up the idea of, wishing everyone a very late, Happy New Year. Something that's starting around a lot here are, what was it here? New Year's resolutions here. So, fellas, I'm not even going to ask you what your resolutions are. I'm going to ask, do you believe in setting New Year's resolutions?
I would say so. I did make my newly patented 8x8 grid of things I need to do. I haven't followed it to a T, but I think the point of New Year's resolutions is less about I must do this 365 times and more like a general to-do list, I guess,
Right.
sort of. So, for example, one of the things on mine is to do the athletic sports connections thing every day. So I do that. That's a part of my routine when I get home from work, and I do the immaculate grid for football and baseball. I do some Sporkle quizzes, some time in the gym. So it's not about doing it every single day. It's about the thought process,
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Splash here. I mean, I do believe in setting them, but it's not going to be something that happens overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I have a number of goals or resolutions before every year, but it's not necessarily going to be like I want to I want to improve my stamina in the water or something, or my cardio. That doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to work out for 5 hours 7 days a week or whatever, but rather working out, maybe upping upping the amount I work out, like in increments, to the point maybe I can do more closer to 2-hour workouts instead. I'm normally at about an hour to an hour 15, but maybe more regularly I can get up closer to the 2-hour range or something. But it also you have to give yourself rest also.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that. And like, like one of my New Year's resolutions is, I mean, as you guys know, like it's to find a more stable, full-time job, for me. But that doesn't, obviously I didn't wake up on January 1st being like, where is it? So, it's a process. Yeah. And it's more about the process, I think, than really, just setting a goal and just getting to it right there.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Like, I don't like setting resolutions because I already know what I want to work on, and just because it's the start of the new year doesn't mean that that's my motivation for getting better. My motivation is I want to get better at something. I want to get better, whether it be health wise, whether it be strength wise, whether it be professional wise. Here, I don't want to use the new year as an excuse for that. I just want to keep going here, and like kind of like what was talked about a moment ago here. Like, I don't want to affect change that's just going to happen immediately, because that is not what really works for any of this here. Like, again, it's about incremental change here. So one of the things I want to bring up here real quick, Mac, if you don't mind me
go ahead.
for a quick second, is that with us doing now live podcasts, we can actually interact with fans. We can interact with the people online, as we actually already have a comment here from XYZ Ballin. Who signs Fromber? Do you want to do a quick 3 words only on who signs Fromber Valdez?
Yeah, sure. Who signs Fromber Valdez?
All right. All right. Who would like to go first? Then?
Yeah, who wants to go first here?
Okay, here we go.
Okay, let's see a splash.
Here we go.
I wonder how long I could do that before we all get annoyed.
I'm already there. So
okay. My 3 words are off-season prediction nailed. I had him going to the Cubs in the offseason, and I still think that's on the table. I know they re-upped with Shota, but I still think the Cubs could use more pitching. Every team can use more pitching, and Valdez, his market hasn't quite materialized. The impending lockout in 2027 is giving people pause. We'll talk about that with these contracts coming up. But I think it could be a 2-year deal and an opt-out after 2026, or a 3-year deal and an opt-out after 2026 or 2027. So you can re-up when maybe you have another good season and you get even more money, or you can re-up when you have more of a stable ground of for financial reasons.
Understandable. Yeah, that tracks. If you want, I'll go next.
Yeah, go ahead.
My 3 words are attitude costs money. Here, and we saw at the end of the year last year with Fromber Valdez that his attitude got him into problems that his arm could not cash. Here, like, he had, like, don't get me wrong, he's a good pitcher. Is he an ace for any team? I mean, maybe an ace for the White Sox or the Rockies, maybe. But other than that, no, not really. Here, so I think that right now he went into this offseason thinking he was going to get ace money, but at the end of the season last year, really just kind of threw it all away here, and is still trying to get that money here. So I think his attitude is going to cost him mightily, and we'll see him probably sign a 1-year deal near the end of the offseason. Also, quick shout out. Thank you, Jake. We appreciate it.
Yeah. So my 3 words are going to be to Charm City. I think he signs with the Orioles.
I thought about it, yeah.
But I'm going to put a caveat in there. It's not going to be what he could have gotten probably if he had hit free agency a year ago, or maybe he had performed better in the second half. He would have gotten a more lucrative deal. What I see happening here is he gets a 2 or 3 year deal, but he gets an opt-out after each year. It's just, the reality is he's 32. He had a bad second half. He had the character concern there with when he allegedly crossed up his catcher on purpose. There's too many red flags here.
Yeah.
His velocity sort of has declined. His effectiveness, like I said, has sort of declined. So
absolutely,
he's not necessarily the ace he was probably entering the year. He's an innings eater for sure. And I think he can still be a solid 2 or 3 in a rotation, but he's just not number 1.
Yeah.
I do want to say that now that Martin Maldonado is a Braves coach, You can boost the chances. Maybe he goes to Atlanta, and if there's
see it.
anyone that would have a good connection, it would be Maldonado, of course, and it would be the Braves, who used to employ Dana Brown, aka Astros employee currently Dana Brown. So if there's any pushback against Fromber, Alex Anthopoulos would know that and would not sign him. If it all checks out and that the cross-up play is a blip or just a bad day, whatever it may be, then maybe you boost up the odds of him going to Atlanta. I'm not saying he's going to Atlanta. I haven't heard anything, but that is something that crossed my radar when you sign Martin Maldonado to be a coach.
Yeah, that absolutely.
Yeah. And Maldonado is obviously a well-respected veteran in Houston. And he was the battery mates with Valdez. So yeah, that would be honestly, I could see him maybe going to Atlanta on a short-term deal. But anyways,
very much a proven deal.
Well, I think anywhere he signs is going to be a proven deal. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you to XYZ Ballin for the question.
Yeah, and of course, if you have more questions, just drop them in the chat, and we'll make sure to answer them. But anyway, we do have some news to cover. Two guys from Japan both had their posting windows closed, and they both signed major league contracts. So Tatsuya Imai signed with the Astros, 3-year deal with an opt-out after each year. And then Kazuma Okamoto signed a 4-year, $60 million deal with the Blue Jays. Both these guys were highly coveted. It seems like Okamoto was more established than, say, a guy like Munetaka Murakami. And Imai was probably he was not quite on the level of Yoshinobu Yamamoto when he came over, but maybe somewhere between him and Kodai Senga. So both are pretty established stars in Japan. I'm going to ask you guys this. Which of these deals do you think will work out better for whoever signed them?
Personally, I think the best deal is going to go to the Astros here. I think that Imai is going to adapt pretty well overall here too. I know he's going to have a little trouble with that porch out and left, but I still think that honestly, Imai is going to be one of the dark horse signings of this entire free agent off season here, because you have a lot of guys like we just talked about, Framber Valdez here, potentially not returning back to Houston here. This could be a replacement for Fromber at that point here. So I think he's going to succeed decently well here, but I do think it's going to be, maybe not as perfect here. I think Okamoto here going to the Blue Jays here, he's going to fit right into that lineup, but there's also going to be the question of how well is that lineup going to do this year here after trying to come off of the amazing 2025 we saw from the Blue Jays.
So I'm going to go in a little bit of a different direction. I think the Kazuma Okamoto is going to be the better fit, and I like what the Blue Jays are doing, continuing to spend money. The problem with the Imai deal for me, from an Astros perspective, is if he's actually good, he's gone. So you only get him for a year. You only get him for 2 years in theory, and then you have to re-up and sign an even bigger deal. So from a player standpoint, Imai is in a great situation. If he balls out, he can go get another contract in potentially a better market next year or in 2028. And that would be a great move for him. But I think Okamoto is in a nice spot. He can play every day at third, and if it doesn't really work at third, the Blue Jays have coverage. They have the Ernie Clements of the world that can move around and play different positions. I wonder what this means for Bo Bichette. I still think the Blue Jays should be in on Bo Bichette. That would be the Ernie Clement dagger, is if you bring back Bichette, and Clement is not exactly an everyday player, more like a fill in the gaps Ben Zobrist type. But if he's your, you're not DH because Springer DHs, but if he's like your utility piece, he's a one heck of a utility piece to have. So I think Okamoto has been a premier power bat in Japan, 30 home runs every year, 2018 to 2023. It's dipped a little bit the last couple years, 27 home runs in 2024. And in a half season last year, only had 15 home runs, but a 411 on base percentage, that'll play. A 581 slug, that's great. And he does not have the concerns against high velocity that Murakami had. We talked about the legitimacy of that last week, but there's no issues in Okamoto's approach from that direction. He will be 30 in June. So there's that. So it's not exactly he's not exactly a young buck here. He's going to be into his 30s, but I think there's reason for him to grow this year.
Yeah, I'll say I kind of agree with you, Splash. From a team perspective, I like the Okamoto deal better. The Blue Jays get a guy who can be an everyday player who's an established bat in Japan, routinely a good power threat, good on good plate discipline, can hit fastballs pretty well. And he can play all over the diamond. He can play third, he can play first, he can play a little bit of the outfield, which is, I think he checks all the boxes you want. Imai, the fact that he got only a 3-year deal with opt-outs raises a little bit of a red flag for me. It's tough evaluating pitchers coming over in particular, I think, because they use a different baseball. And Imai, unlike Yamamoto, unlike Sasaki, unlike Senga, is not a hard thrower. His breaking stuff graded out really well. He doesn't rely on his velocity to get swings and misses, but the fact that he only got a 3-year deal makes me wonder, do teams have doubts about what he's going to be able to do in the major league at the major league level? I think ultimately, like you were saying, if he has a monster season, then there's approximately zero chance that he stays in Houston or that he doesn't opt out of his contract. So right. I think both ends are fine. Before we move on, we do have another question from Austin DeLillo, 3927. He says, Connolly early or Peyton Tolley, both should be higher up for early AL Rookie of the Year favorites. So 2 young Boston arms. What do you guys think?
I'm going to go with early. I think that early is, again, enough. I like to always side with pitching when it comes to Rookie of the Year stuff because I think it's a little bit potentially easier, I think, as a starting pitcher. But I think the team is strong as is here, and he's just going to help really fit into that starting rotation nicely.
Yeah, I think I lean with early too. I think Tolley showed flashes of greatness at the major league level, but I noticed that some of his best outings are actually as a reliever. So I do wonder if, say Tolley trips out of the gate, maybe they move him to the bullpen and he becomes more of a swingman, which I think he could still garner some Rookie of the Year votes. But I think early, the fact that they trusted him to start an elimination game in the playoffs, in addition to his solid performance at the end of the season, I think he makes a bit of a safer bet to be in the Rookie of the Year race.
Yeah, and early pitch just a little bit more last year, 3 more innings in the regular season. And to Austin's point, it's fair that they should be higher in Rookie of the Year odds because they actually played last year. Now we can quibble with the idea of a player or betting on it at this point because we've seen players that did not debut with the big league club win Rookie of the Year. Nick Kurtz did it last year. Michael Harris back in 22 in Atlanta. So should you bet on it? Probably not. Should they be higher up in the odds? Yeah, I think so. Tolley's higher than early on MLB Pipeline. He's in the top 100. Early's just outside. So you can make the argument either way, but I think it's fair that they should be in the top, 5 to 8 favorites.
Yeah. And then Austin has another question saying, I think there's any truth to the reported aggressive alongside long-term deal on the table for Bregman from the Red Sox and him not accepting it. I'll start here. I'm not sure if maybe he hasn't accepted it, but I do believe the Red Sox have offered him some type of contract. It feels like it makes too much sense for him to go back. The Red Sox need a third baseman. Bregman, I don't see him getting another big contract or like a super long-term contract from another team. The Red Sox, it's right in front of them. That's the thing. Wow, I just stole an Aaron Boone line. But literally, it is right in front of them for them to re-sign him. The Blue Jays, I don't think are going to sign him because they just signed Okamoto. They still are trying to sign Bichette and Kyle Tucker. What other team is going to give him this type of contract? I don't see another suitor outside of Boston for Bregman.
Yeah, I think there's a lot, like the last line of what Austin you said here about being all Boris. I actually kind of agree with that here. Boris is really, really good at inflating the market with quotes here and with speculation. So I don't know. I feel like there is some contract negotiation going on. I would not be surprised at all if Boston had offered a long-term deal, just not at the number that that Boris wants here. So he's just gonna keeping it on until we get to about 1 week before spring training. He's gonna sign another 1-year deal.
Yeah, I think there's a couple factors at play here. First of all, we're just getting out of the holiday season, so there's a bit of a cool off period with deals, agents and players. I'm not saying their phones are off, GMs, but you're less likely to have a move. The only reason the Japanese players signed were specific deadlines that they had to get signed by XYZ, or they have to go back to Japan. And also, it's worth mentioning again the impending lockout. So if you're Bregman or Boris and you have any sort of reservations, you might be more likely to say, hey, let's do another one of those opt-out years sort of deals. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're Boston, you might be inclined to ask for, or it would probably be flipped. If you're Bregman, you probably want a long-term deal. And if you're Boston, you might want some flexibility just in case. So but that can be a team-to-team thing. Some teams are more willing to accept risk. A team like the Red Sox, a big market with big spending, in theory, big spending owners, they can maybe withstand a little bit more risk than other teams. So that is part of the equation there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, realistically, like I said, I think Bregman and the Red Sox seemed like a match once again. It seemed like Bregman seemed to really enjoy his time in Boston. The Sox fans really liked him too. And I know he got injured. He didn't perform as well in the second half, but I think he would perform well over the course of a full season in Boston. But we did have one other move we want to cover that happened earlier today. The Marlins traded Edward Cabrera to the Cubs for a package of prospects headlined by Owen Casey, who made his major league debut this year as a consensus top 50 to top 60 prospect in the sport. They also got infield prospects Christian Hernandez and Edgardo De Leon. So it's a 3-for-1 deal. Cabrera is a guy with excellent stuff, tons of upside, just is always hurt, has never pitched more than 140 innings in a season. I'll go to Splash here first. What's your take on this deal?
Not to be cliche, but I think this is a win-win trade. I think both teams saw a place that they had a surplus and a place that they had a scarcity. The Cubs said, all right, we have a ton of bats. Everyone in the minors is a bat. Our big league roster is full of young bats, but we need pitching. The Marlins looked at their roster and said, oh, pitching? We have tons of it. Hitters? What are those? So you make the swap for KC and you get Edward Cabrera, and the Cubs can get a highly volatile arm, a player that I remember, I'm sure Mac remembers, a game that he no-hit the Mets through 3 innings, but like walked 8 dudes. So it's one of those profiles, and I'm sure the two of you can speak to his dominance in MLB The Show.
Oh my God,
I was about to bring it up. Yeah. That was near the intro to my thing here, so thanks for taking that one.
But yeah, Cabrera is just filthy, man, but the command is just simply not there. It walks a lot of batters. But maybe you figure it out. You are working with some veterans, Shota, for example. You have Rookie of the Year runner-up Kate Horton in there. There's other the Cubs have had good pitchers. It's not like they're not the Rockies or anything. So I do wonder how Cabrera will pitch outside of Lone Depot Park, of course, notorious pitcher park, while Wrigley can play both hot and cold from a pitcher perspective. If the wind is blowing out, you're cooked. But it could be a case of maybe the stuff is just so good, throw it in the zone on days that the wind is blowing in and you're going to be good. So yeah, maybe you get a Scooble arc in a way that just throw it past guys, or a Aroldis Chapman arc that just aim it at a certain point. So I think it's a win-win for both teams.
Yeah, I'm going to go in a slightly different direction here with this. So, yeah, the MLB The Show 21 absolute menace in Edward Cabrera. I think it's a good move overall for both sides here, but I think this is a risky move as well for Chicago. Because I think that when you take a look at this guy, the biggest issues that he had are injury and command here. And so when you take a look at what he can be doing for your ball club here, you did trade away a pretty decent haul to get a guy that is, let's be honest here right now, is slightly maybe above mid as a starting pitcher. Like when he's on, don't get me wrong, he is on. The problem is you hear his name being said in a good manner maybe twice a year here, and it's because of the injuries. It's because of the lack of command here. So if he can figure that out in Chicago, then they just got themselves an absolute menace of a starting pitcher to go right alongside in that rotation. But I think the other reason why they did this here is that they see that the market for starting pitchers is a little bit more expensive than what they were liking to have here. Like, yes, they had bats in their farm system that they could just readily go along with. But I don't think that they also wanted to spend a lot of money on someone, say like Framber Valdez. They couldn't spend on, or maybe got outbid on Imai here, or some of the other arms that are going around and around here. So I feel like this is a move where, like, okay, we know we have an issue. We need more starting pitching. And this was just the best option they could come up with.
Yeah, I mean, Cabrera has tremendous upside. He has 3 years of control left. But it is a steep price to pay for a guy who has never qualified for the ERA title. I mean, he threw a career high in innings this year at 137 and 2/3. And I think in general, this was the best year of his career. He's only 27. He's going to turn 28 in April. I think the Cubs can get a lot out of him. But Owen Casey is young. He was the best prospect in their farm system. And he hit enough to make it to the majors. He didn't do much. I mean, he only had 27 plate appearances, so we don't know. But the Marlins also have a pretty intriguing outfield now with Kyle Stowers, Jacob Marcy, and in theory, Casey or Griffin Conine. I think this is a solid move for both sides. I think both teams get players with pretty good upside. And the infield prospects that Miami got too are both well regarded. Hernandez stole 52 bases last year in the minors. And then De Leon is only 18, but he had a really good year in the ACL. So I think, honestly, for both trades, it's a solid deal.
Fair enough, yeah.
So, we're going to move on. Why don't we answer the question in the chat first, because it'll segue great into our next topic. So XYZ Balling asks, do we think Adley bounces back this season? I mean, I'll take this one first, because I think he hit a low last year. I don't know how he can't bounce back in the way that I'm not sure he can get any worse than he did this past year. And I'm not saying that he was like awful this year, but he was injured multiple times. He just never really seemed to get going. I think he can bounce back. I know that he struggled in the second half of 2024, but we saw how great he can be in 2022 and 2023. So I do believe Adley will bounce back. I just don't know if he'll necessarily reach the heights that he did back in his rookie year.
Yeah, I'm with you on that front. I think that when it comes to Adley Rutschman, again, last year, I don't want to say was a complete anomaly, but it was definitely what are we doing? It was what is going on here with the young Mr. Ash, Adley Rutschman. I almost said Ashley. I'm wait a minute, that's not right. But no, spoiler alert, he's not in my top 5 this year. He's not in my top. I mean, he could fight maybe for a top 10, but he's not in my top 5 this year. I've got 5 other guys that I do think are better than him right now.
Yeah, I frankly didn't really consider him. Only consideration was, he was on my list last year. But the underlying metrics, like the batted ball stuff, is not good. I will say the swing decisions still fine. Doesn't chase much, doesn't whiff much, doesn't strike out much, walks a lot. So the floor is still there as a... Okay, if we adjust our expectations for Adley and we just erase the number 1 prospect in baseball, a great player at Oregon State, a great catcher in the big leagues previously, if we erase that and say, color me a good catcher. Well, Adley can fit that bill as a below average hitter and a good defensive player. He was plus fielding run value last year, good framer. He has a good arm, good blocker. There's nothing really downsidey about his defensive profile. And offensively, he's the rare catcher that does draw walks. He's a great understanding of the plate. It's like the power was sapped last year, that he didn't hit the ball as hard as he had in previous years. The exit velos were down. The expected slug is at 400. That's, fine for a catcher, but Adley had kind of broken out of that good for a catcher mantra. It's like, we're going to talk about Cal in a little bit. He's a good hitter. It's not good for a catcher. It's just a good hitter. Well, Adley was in the good hitter category. Now it's maybe fine for a catcher, but not a good hitter in regular baseball terms.
Right.
Yeah, really, I do want to see Adley bounce back. He was so great his first 2 years of the majors, and then he sort of hit a wall. But I think the Orioles as a whole just took a step back last year. It was kind of weird. But he is competing for playing time now, though, with Samuel Basayo. So it'll be interesting to see. But this segues perfectly into our next topic. We are starting our position rankings, where we rank the top 5 at each position. Remember, these are completely subjective. So if you have disagreements, leave them in the comments section. Please be respectful. But yes, I'm sure we will disagree on some things. But we are starting out with the catchers today. So we each have our top 5 list. We'll work from 5 to 1 here. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's have Alex. Why don't you guys?
So we'll hold up, say we'll splash. For those watching on YouTube, the live stream, again, thank you for doing so. We actually have our previous rankings, it looks like, up here as well. Splash, you want to take us through a little bit of what you got going here?
We unfortunately don't have the catchers because I wasn't on that episode, so I didn't make graphics for it.
Fair enough.
But yeah, we have our rankings from last year. All of our pretty rankings. Don't stop and look. You might get eye cancer. Some of these picks are just bad.
Yeah,
some of mine are pretty goofy.
Mine were perfect. What are you talking about?
Yeah. We are not going to talk about the division picks.
Yes, we are.
Later.
Yeah, because I won.
Oh, God. I think
you
I
went
0
2 for 6, bud.
Yeah, I went 2 for 6, which is better than 1 for 6. Which is what both of you guys had, and you guys picked the layup.
Valid.
Oh wait, yeah, I got one right. What am I talking about?
Yeah, you both got the layup.
Yeah. I think I deserve extra points because I did pick the bomb.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I get 1.5. Yeah. And here's our predictions for awards.
Yeah, they went.
Alex.
God, yeah, they went so well.
So I got correct on mine.
I deserve extra points for getting Hunter Brown. That was a good pick. I picked 2 finalists. Neither of them won, but
I mean, Roman Anthony was a finalist for me, but Soto was a finalist. Skeens. Okay, so we got Skeens. Who did I pick? Oh, Dylan Cruz. Oh my.
Oh God. Hey, at least your guy played.
Who did I have? Oh, I had Roki Sasaki. Yeah,
Sasaki. Yeah.
I played
that didn't turn out too great. Until the end of the year.
Oh man.
All right, so
guys, this is what. Look, this is what it means to be a podcaster, to be a pundit. You can use all the data you want, but that does not mean it won't get thrown right back in your face.
Yeah, feel free to bookmark this, I guess, for the end of the year or whatever. Yeah. But why don't we get started, though? Alex, start us off. Who's your number 5 catcher?
Cool. So I'm actually going to start with a couple of my honorable mentions here. Right. I have 2 that I'm going to talk about here for a sec. Will Smith, I do not have him in my top 5. Yeah, I don't. I think he's a great catcher. Right. He just missed out to me. And I mean just missed out. The other is Austin Wells. Austin Wells, also a good catcher. My number 5 is Patrick Bailey. Patrick Bailey, I think, deserves to be in the top 5 for the sole purpose of his defense. His defense as a catcher is incredible to watch. It takes a lot for me to say that someone is a better defensive catcher than Cal, and just to outright be okay admitting that here. Patrick Bailey does that in spades. He is the best defensive catcher in all of baseball, and I think that means something. The offense needs a lot of work, but he's getting those at-bats to keep getting better and better and better, and his catching is already at an elite level. So for that, I have him as my number 5.
Okay. I don't have Patrick Bailey on my list. It was a tough cut. I know the war might say he's a top 5 catcher, and I get the being a catcher, being the best defensive player in baseball is incredibly valuable. He had a 70 WRC plus last year. That is not viable. I'm sorry. I can't. He's top 10. I can't. Some players that are not on my list: Shea Langoliers, great power, not enough defense. Drake Baldwin, tremendous hitter, solid defender, but he's done it for 3/4 of a season. I need another year. No Austin Wells, sorry. And no former Brave William Contreras, who was my number 1 catcher in baseball last season. Yikerinos. And my graphic that I had is not loading, so please hold. I had it all
I'm
mapped
honestly
out.
shocked about one of those not being in.
I had it all mapped out. So we're gonna go.
Makes me feel
number
like
5. You did not see the hat, ladies and gentlemen. Gabriel Moreno, the number 5 catcher in baseball. Okay. He is the best parts of Patrick Bailey in that he is tremendous defensively, not quite as good as Patrick Bailey, but he is also a good hitter. He's honestly the best parts of Adley Rutschman, that it's the contact-oriented approach, but he gets on base, he puts the ball in play, he does the right things from that perspective, and it's a different catcher profile. It's you look at Langoliers, for example, and he's going to hit 30 home runs, or Cal is going to hit 60 home runs, or Will Smith is a uber productive power hitting catcher. Gabriel Moreno is a little bit of a different shape of production, and I like what he brings to the Arizona lineup. Don't have him sacrifice bunt ever again, please. 2023 Diamondbacks. He's just a well-rounded catcher, and I like the profile.
Yeah.
All right. Like so, I do. So I'm going to start my honorable mentions. I do not have Patrick Bailey or Gabriel Moreno on my top 5. Bailey, I'm going to ask this. Get up to like just a 90 WRC plus, and he's easily in the top 5. That 70 WRC plus is tough to look at. Like it's a tough at bat when he's up there, but he's so good behind the plate. I mean, that's what keeps him in the lineup. I don't have Hunter Goodman in my top 5 either. I know he was the Silver Slugger winner behind the plate. He had a great season for Colorado, but I had to leave him off. And the toughest omission for me, I don't have Dylan Dingler in my top 5. I really wanted to put Dylan Dingler in my top 5, but I want to see him do it for an extra year before I put him in there. My number 5 is Shea Langoliers. I know that his defense isn't spectacular necessarily, but look what he did at the plate last year. He batted .277, which, I mean, okay, batting average doesn't mean everything, but if you told me before the season that there was going to be a catcher that batted above 260 and slugged over 500, I would not have expected Shea Langoliers to do both of those things. I could have seen him slugging over 500. I definitely did not expect him to bat close to 280. 132 WRC plus, 31 homers. He even stole 7 bases. And the big thing for me is he cut his strikeout rate down from 27.2% to 19.7%. So I know that his glove is still improving, but his bat was excellent this year. He's been an above average bat in the past. He has a ton of power. So I'm really excited to watch him play this year. The A's, I think, are going to take a huge step forward again. So he's my number 5 catcher.
That's fair. Yeah, no, I like Shea Langoliers. I really do here, but again, it comes down to the defense for me on him. So, but he's not in my top 5 either.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started with my number 4. I have from the Blue Jays, I have Alejandro Kirk, a guy who I left off last year, should have won the Gold Glove this year. 116 WRC plus, coupled with excellent defense behind the plate, 4.7 FWAR. Honestly, there's a case for him to be even higher than 4. His bat had a huge bounce back because it had really taken a hit in 23 and 24, both years being below 100 WRC plus, but getting him back up to 116. He may not be a true power hitter, only a 140 ISO, but I think he checks all the boxes. And with his glove making such a huge improvement, like I said, I really am shocked he didn't win the Gold Glove this past year, but I think he's a solid number 4 here.
Yeah, that I think Alejandro Kirk is honestly awesome. I have some issues with him too. We'll get to that. Here, do you mind if I go to my number 4?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. For number 4, I'm going with Gabriel Moreno. I like him a lot. I think that Gabby is a fantastic player. Here, watching, and I'm taking a look here at the Steamer projections here for him this next coming year. And right now, a projected offensive WAR of 8.2 and a defensive WAR of 9.1 is really, really good. Here, one of the few players that actually has really solid numbers on both ends of the spectrum there. I really think that, hey, thanks, appreciate it, Skylar. Yeah, you have a good night as well. But I think that Gabriel Moreno is in a really good spot here over with the Diamondbacks. What's up, Splash? Splash, what's up? You're laughing hard.
I just read the comments. Thanks,
yeah.
Skylar.
Skylar, thank you.
Thanks, Skylar.
But no, I think that he is just honestly one of the more slept on catchers in baseball because he does a lot of things really, really well. But he gets overshadowed because he doesn't have the power of Cal Raleigh, does not have the defense of a Patrick Bailey here, but he does everything just pretty all right. Also having, a strikeout percentage that is not in the 20s is pretty good. Like, I'll take that here. Do I wish the walks were a little bit higher? Yeah. But honestly, he does enough well that I'm okay with.
All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I actually have my graphic made, so I'm going to just scroll up. Number 4, Dylan Dingler. He actually won the Gold Glove over Alejandro Kirk. That was highway robbery. We'll get to Kirk in a little bit. But a catcher hitting 280 works for me, man. It's slugging 425. Now, keep in mind there is a Comerica tax, so it'll be a little bit lower than other catchers maybe, but a 108 OPS plus, that will play. And good defense. Great defense even. And he's sort of the best of both worlds in this modern... I'm not going to compare him to Yadier Molina because Yadier is a Hall of Famer and tremendous defensively. But to me, that's like the perfect catcher, is the above average at the plate and a good defensive catcher. Brian McCann comes to mind, should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm on an island all alone. But Dingler had a great season. His de facto rookie year, he only had 87 plate appearances in 2024. It was tremendous, and it's exactly what you want from a catcher. And I think he's a big reason why the Skubal won another Cy Young. And Skubal's had some really good catchers to work with. Of course, he had with Jake Rogers in 2024, but Dingler was perfectly great in 2025. And he actually matched Cal's record for like no passed balls in the regular season. But I think both of them had one in the playoffs. I know Cal did. I think Dingler
I think Dingler may have had one too. Yeah.
I think he had one. Yeah.
Yeah. But regardless. Number 3, we're going to do a little scroll. It's Will Smith, baby. Not that Will Smith and not that Will Smith either, but it's the Dodgers' Will Smith. A 150 OPS plus as a catcher. Just banger. Just absolute banger. A 3-time World Series champion now. 17 home runs, 20 doubles, a 404 on base percentage. That's better than Juan Soto had last season. He had his 3rd different season with at least 4 Baseball Reference WAR. Now, Fangraphs WAR doesn't love Will Smith because he's not very good defensively. So that's the problem. That's why he's not number 1 or number 2, because his offensive production is a different shape than Cal's, because Will Smith hit 300 and had an on base of over 400, while Cal had a slugging over 600, if memory serves. So a different shape of the production, but they are within within the range of outcomes that I think Will Smith could have a better all-around offensive season than Cal. Could have a better OPS plus season than Cal. I don't think he's better defensively, so Cal will be higher than Will Smith, barring Will Smith turning into like God himself. But a 900 OPS as a catcher, that'll play. I don't really care if you're just a kind of average, maybe a little bit below average defensively. The metrics are kind of all over the place on Will Smith. Maybe he moves to a different part of the diamond. Third base, I don't. That's weird for a catcher to do that, but hey, maybe it happens, or maybe he goes to first base when Freddie retires, leaves in a couple years. Who knows? Dalton Rushing has been sitting there for about 10 years now. So Will Smith, my number 3 catcher in Major League Baseball.
So my number 3, I'm going to go with a guy that you left off. William Contreras, I think, still is a top 3 catcher. I know that his numbers did fall off a little bit, but he did have an 833 OPS in the second half compared to a 699 OPS in the first half. In the first half, he only slugged 347, but that was up to 472 in the second half. And he still put up a 113 WRC plus, still put up 3.6 F4. He was still solid defensively. He actually cut his strikeout rate down and his walk rate went up. And he still hits the ball really hard. His average exit velocity is about 91 miles per hour. And, I think with the second half and with his batted ball data, I think there's every reason to expect him to bounce back to being closer to a 120 to 130 WRC plus bat. So, he's still young. That was only his age 27 season. And I think it's perfectly reasonable to expect him to be a top 3 catcher again this year. I know that the position is getting stronger, but I think he's maintained his position. And with his reputation of what he's done in years past, I think he deserves to be in the top 3.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's why he's my number 3 as well. Here, I have William Contreras at number 3. I take a look at him as a player, and he checks all the boxes, right? Is he great defensively? No, but he gets the job done. Is he pretty darn good offensively? Yeah, you bet. Here, projected through this year to be the second best offensive catcher in all of baseball, behind one big dumper, shall we say. We'll get to him in a bit. But no, looking at what Contreras can do and has done, it's weird to say that he's only in his age 27 season. Feels like he's been around for a lot longer than that, but he's made himself a household name. He is an incredible catcher. He walks over 10% of the time, strikes out less than 20 here, and is projected to have a BABIP of over 300. As a catcher, that's not nothing. That's pretty darn solid, I would say. Yeah, you talk about with the exit velocity and all that fun stuff here. So, but what it comes down for me, when it comes to William Contreras, is that he has been consistent, and he's still, even his down years have still been really good here. So for that, he's my number 3.
Why don't you roll into your number 2 then?
All right, baby. My number 2 is one Mr. Alejandro Kirk. So, Alejandro Kirk, I need to apologize here to this man. I was not familiar with his game. Here, I looked at Alejandro Kirk, and I'm like, he's only a catcher because of his body shape. I legitimately thought that for a while, and it sucked because it's coming from me. Here, for those of you not watching the podcast, I'm a bit of a larger individual myself, but after watching him play this year, I really gained a new appreciation from him. Here, taking a look, right? Offensively, he is one of the best bat-to-ball guys in the AL East. Here, he is defensively really good. Here, he's surprisingly agile, not fast, agile for the position here. Yeah, the NL West is loaded with catcher. I'm talking about the AL East though right now, but he's absolutely XYZ balling. You're absolutely right though. But I look at what Kirk has done, and I have one question: can you do it again? Because you take a look at the previous years here, and he's not been the most consistent. There's been times where he's not been the number 1 guy, even on their own team, behind guys like Danny Jensen here and other players. So you've been given the full-time spot now. You are being recognized as one of the best defensive and arguably one of the best offensive catchers in baseball as well. Let me see what you can do with it. Now do it for not just one season. I have full faith that he will do absolutely that. The ball data tells that he is good at least getting on base. He is good at not striking out all that much. Here again, you take a look at the catchers, right? The biggest number that jumps out to me is the strikeout percentage here, projected wise for next year on Steamer, has him at 12.3%. Let me say that one more time, 12 0.3%. You can take a look at almost any other catcher on this, and almost all of them are in the 20s to high teens. Maybe some of them in the 30s even. This guy does not strike out. He gets on base, to quote one Mr. Billy Bean here. So I think that deserves to be rewarded, and I have faith that he will do this, and he will continue to be one of the best catchers in baseball.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off your points, Alex. He's also my number 2, and it was a different shape of production than when he broke out back in 2022. I remember he was just a doubles machine. He had a 4-WAR season, 19 doubles, 14 homers, 285, 372, 415 slash, a 127 OPS plus as a catcher. He won the Silver Slugger. And then he has some struggles in 23 and 24, but he gets in the lab and he becomes the premier defensive catcher in the American League. And even over Cal, even over Dylan Dingler and Jake Rogers, he's been the best defensive catcher in the American League for the last 3 seasons. And finally, he matched it with his plate production. He hit 282 last year, slugged 420, blaze it, 33 extra base hits, 76 RBI. And I will say, the not striking out is great until you ground into a double play to end the World Series. Maybe you should have struck out there. I don't know. A 111 OPS plus, perfectly fine for a catcher, or great for a catcher, frankly, and a wonderful, wonderful defensive catcher. Unfortunately for him, he's not number 1. Mac, have you done your number 2?
No, I'm going to do it right now. Sure. I'll say this much. If Kirk does what he did again, I could easily put him at number 2. But my number 2 is Will Smith. I mean, I think he's necessarily a 153 WRC plus bat again? Maybe not. He did slightly outperform his underlying metrics, but still, he did that as a catcher. And I know he's not the best defensive catcher, but 14.7% walk rate. That is excellent. Like Splash said, his on-base percentage, albeit in a smaller sample size, was the best in the National League. It was higher than Juan Soto, higher than Shohei Ohtani, higher than Kyle Schwarber. And he still hit 17 home runs, drove in 61 runs. He put up 4.1 Fangraphs WAR in only 110 games, 436 plate appearances. So if he stays healthy, we're looking at a guy who's getting close to 6 FWAR. And like I said, I don't know if he can replicate that 150 WRC plus with his bat. But I think if his glove improves, it'll slightly outweigh if his bat regresses. So I think he's a firm number 2 for me. This is a guy who I left off last year because, frankly, he had kind of a disappointing year with the bat in 24. But this year, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the 2 huge home runs he hit in the World Series, including the one that ended up being the game-winning run in Game 7. So he came through when it mattered. I know that he did struggle the first couple of rounds of the playoffs, but he had a couple of huge hits. He's battle tested. He's been on every World Series or every World Series / pennant winning Dodgers team since 2020. So, I guess I'll roll into number 1. In this year, it is not particularly close. Cal Raleigh is easily the number 1 catcher in baseball. Last year it was actually kind of a tight race between him and William Contreras. But if you go out and hit 60 home runs, in addition to being a solid defensive catcher, maybe he's not Platinum Glove winner anymore, but I mean, dude, he hit 60 home runs, drove in 125. What more can you ask for out of a player? I mean, we're talking, he was a top 5 maybe player in all of baseball across all positions this year, a 161 WRC plus. Yes, he still strikes out, but he was walking close to 14%. Yeah, I know his batting average is only 247, but he slugged close to 600, 589 slugging. He had 9.1 FWAR. There was a period where we were talking about him potentially having the greatest season ever by a catcher. And do I think it was the greatest? Probably not, but it's right up there. Since the turn of the century, the only player that has more FWAR as a catcher in a season is Buster Posey, and that was his MVP year. I mean, Cal, you can argue all you want whether or not he should have been MVP. I think he had a great case. He didn't win it, obviously, but this was the year we were all waiting for, I think. He finally had an outstanding offensive season. He went from being a good hitter to a great hitter, and his glove was still held up very well. So this is not particularly close. I'm assuming we're all in agreement here. But yeah, who else wants to talk about Cal? I know Alex does.
I always want to talk about Cal here. Do you want to let Splash go first, though? So
yeah, sure, Splash.
Being happy with my pillow.
That is a great pillow, by the way.
Not the Cal Raleigh pillow. That's crazy.
Hey, this is handmade by my grandma, and I will.
Okay,
that's amazing. Wow.
Okay, fair. I need to get my grandmother to do that with Drake Baldwin. Hashtag Rake Baldwin. Hashtag Cal isn't the best catcher. It's actually Rake Baldwin. It's Cal. I'm not going to talk about the home runs. I'm not going to talk about the WRC plus or the OPS plus that were both among the best in baseball. It was, I think, third in the American League behind Judge and George Springer. I'm not going to talk about leading the league in RBI. I'm not going to talk about 110 runs as a catcher. Holy, what the? I'm going to talk about 159 games played, 705 plate appearances, 135 games as a catcher, 119 complete games as a catcher, 1,138 putouts. That led the majors. 51 assists. That led all catchers. 8 double plays. That led the majors among catchers. He plays every day. It's as simple as that. Even if he wasn't leaps and bounds the best, well, actually, he wasn't, frankly, leaps and bounds the best offensive catcher in baseball. Will Smith, like I said, is within the margin of error. Will Smith missed half the season. Cal was an everyday player. You can quibble with the defense, maybe a little bit. He wasn't quite as good as he was. I disagree with him winning the Platinum Glove last year, but he was a deserving finalist, at least last year. This year, it was just more good than great defensively. But he played 159 games, 135 behind the plate. It's great that Patrick Bailey, Moreno, Dingler, Kirk, they're great defensively. They're not playing 150 games. So you're going to someone not named Kirk or Dingler or Moreno who is either maybe okay defensively and can't hit, or maybe can hit a little bit but can't field like a Mitch Garver type backup catcher. And Cal said, all right, well, backup catcher, what are those? So that's just the most impressive thing. We can talk about the home runs. Alex can bring them up. Alex can bring up the RBI. He can bring up everything else. Playing 159 games as a catcher is ridiculous.
Yeah, I should mention also that Cal doesn't necessarily have to. He could maybe do like 50% of that this coming year with the bat, and he'd still be probably still be number one in my opinion. Like I'm not expecting him to go out and hit 60 home runs again, or have a 160 WRC plus again, or put up 9 F4. But we're looking at a guy. I think we could easily see 6 or between 6 and 8 F4 again. So yeah, I have a hard time thinking of someone who could pass him this year. Alex, I'm sure you've been waiting to talk about your guy, so here you go.
What are you talking about? What do you think? No, I mean, I got on the Cal Raleigh train basically the moment that he came up to the major leagues. It fills me with so much pride and so much happiness that in the year of our Lord 2026, we have all come together and understood, not selected, understood that Cal Raleigh is the best catcher in the game of Major League Baseball. I love what he does. Splash, I'm going to give you credit here because absolutely that is to me the most important stat here. Like, yes, 60 home runs is insane. It is incredible. It's something that may or may not ever happen again. But even more than that was how many games he played. 3 is the number of games that he missed this season. Is there 3 or 4? Regardless, 3. Yeah. For a catcher, a primary catcher to miss less games than fingers I have on my hand, that is incredible to think about. With the amount of strain and the amount of pain that it takes to be a catcher, he did it with grace and with power. He was an absolute iron horse. Here, he was an Iron Man behind the plate. Here, shout out to Cal Ripken Jr. But yeah, there is so much that is great to see from on the field, off the field. He is one of the best players in all of baseball, and I still think he should have won MVP. We've had that conversation way too many times here. But with all that being said here, Cal is legitimately one of the best catchers in... No, I'm just going to say he is the best catcher in baseball. Here, and we've all now said it here. You take a look at the batting data. 60 home runs last year. Insane. 100 plus RBIs. Amazing. But I really like the stat that you brought up there, Splash. About 159 games played. Man did not want a day off. The man wanted to play, and play he did.
The crazy thing is also that his numbers were significantly better when he was catching as opposed to when he was a DH. But the other thing is that it speaks volumes about him that on days that he wasn't catching, he was in the lineup still. Not every catcher that we even discussed today can say that. I mean, we talked about Patrick Bailey. Patrick Bailey probably isn't DHing anytime soon. Maybe you see Alejandro Kirk get some DH at bats. Maybe you see Gabby Moreno, Shea Langoliers. Like, you see some of these guys get DH at bats, but I don't think you see it as the volume that Cal did. And I remember there was at least one game, I think they were playing in Sacramento, where it was supposed to be like a full day off for him. And he came up off the bench, got a big hit, and caught the last couple innings. Like, the man doesn't take days off. And honestly, I really, really respect it. I mean, I think that being a catcher is arguably the most demanding position in sports. And the fact that he's able to do it at a high level while still being excellent with the bat, it's really admirable. It was just really fun to watch him. I think he's been fun to watch for a few years, but like this year in particular, it was just, I mean, it was really, really amazing.
One thing I want to bring up as well when it comes to him is that there are very few catchers that can command a pitcher here and can calm down a pitcher quite like Cal Raleigh can. It's insane to watch that. You could take a guy like, let's say, like a Brian Wu, right, who is only a few years into their major league career here, and he can talk and get Brian Wu on on the same page, and can do the same with Luis Castillo, who is a many-year veteran who has been around for a while and is a very, very good pitcher, and he commands both of their respects. The dude's insane.
I mean, the moment that I come back to is game 1 of the ALCS.
Yeah.
When, Bryce Miller gives up a home run on the first pitch of the game, he's in trouble. And, he goes out and talks to him. He settles down, gets through 6 innings. They win the game. By the way, we have another question from XYZ Balling who says, who has the best shot to dethrone Cal?
Nobody.
Oh, that's a good question. Because I feel like
nobody.
I mean, I want, obviously that could be my answer. But if I want to say anyone on this list, honestly, I think I got to go back to Contreras. He's young enough. He's only going to be 28 this year. And I think his bat is going to bounce back and his glove is still solid, where I think he can at least get it back into striking distance. It's either him and maybe Will Smith has a chance to if his glove improves.
Yeah. If you really would held a gun to my head and said who has the best chance and I had to answer, and I couldn't just take the bullet, I would honestly, I think I could go with Alejandro Kirk. I think that Kirk defensively, great. Power wise, great. Bat control, great. Speed,
I'd like to raise some
speed, good.
I'm gonna say if you combined the former Bay Area, I guess they're still Bay Area catchers because they still play in Sacramento. If you combine Shea Langoliers and Patrick Bailey, I think you could get close to Cal from a WAR perspective, with Patrick Bailey being the best defensive catcher in baseball, or being the best defensive player in baseball, and Langoliers having 30 homer power and 120, 130 OPS plus in theory. That's probably the best bet. I don't think Patrick Bailey is going to suddenly figure out how to be a decent hitter. Not even if he question how high of a WRC plus OPS plus would Bailey need to have to be considered as good as Cal?
It would have to be
Given-
well over 100, honestly.
Given that
I-
he's so great defensively.
If we're oh my god, because I said 90 is the benchmark for me to get like top 5. I think to get up to where Cal is, I probably need like a 120 or a 130.
This
Yeah,
feels like a Maurer versus Molina conversation.
it really
yeah,
does.
yeah. Or like there were conversations on the internet today about like Buster Posey versus Jorge Posada. It's something like that.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good
There's
one.
some fun conversations in there. I'll say that.
Yeah,
Thank you, XYZ.
yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Again.
But yeah, let us know what your rankings are. Maybe you disagree with us. Tell us you think there's someone we left off that should have been on there. Let us know. You could leave us a comment here. You could tell us at LAR_baseball on Twitter or Instagram. But for right now, it is time for everyone's favorite segment. It's time for trivia. Splash has prepared a segment for Alex and I to participate in. So take it away.
Hello. We are doing a draft, fellas. It is a war draft. You will go back and forth, a snake-style draft. You pick a player starting at catcher, ending with a pitcher, back and forth. And you must tell me a player and a season, and you get their war total from that season. Couple things. Number one, baseball reference war. I'm sorry, Fangraphs. You're not very searchable. Number two, each position has a qualifier. If you do not meet that qualifier, for example, I'll do a football one. If I said I need a quarterback drafted since 2000 and you chose Dan Marino, you get a
Close
negative.
enough.
Yeah. So in this
Best
case, you would
quarterback.
get a -1 and you would have to re-guess. So
What
in
about if
that
I said
case,
Doug Flutie?
you'd get another negative. So you can brick a
Darn.
couple times if you really want to. So if you want to, you can loft it. You can say Babe Ruth is a catcher. It didn't happen, but hey, do you have any questions?
Okay, so are we only going to know what the qualifier is when we get to that position?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And
All
please
right.
try to come up with an answer pretty quickly so we're not here until the cows come home.
So the cows come home?
Cows
I mean,
come home?
maybe I want that.
Wow.
Like,
The cows come home.
Moo. Alright.
Cows on a farm. I should watch the movie again.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Are
right, let's get
you
started.
ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Alex, please pick a number between 1 and 10.
4.
Mac,
8.
answer is 7. Mac, would you like to go first or second?
I'll go first.
All right.
I think I'm like over at this point over the last like 10 quizzes we've done
Man.
where you've done the middle things. I'm 99% sure at this point you're just giving it to Mac.
No, I used the last digit of the time. It was 907.
Oh my god.
Oh my. Okay. Yeah, fair
All
enough.
right, Mac, you must choose a player who was playable in MLB Power Pros 2008 as your catcher.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't have to choose the 2008 season for them, but they have to be playable in 2008.
All right, give me Joe Mauer 2009 then.
Joe Mauer,
Ooh,
2009
that's
is a
really good.
valid answer. I will not tell you how many WAR he had.
All right.
Hopefully it doesn't show. Oh, it definitely showed.
Dude, you can see it in the search bar, so yeah.
Okay, we're gonna move. I switched. Darn it. Okay. Let me. Oh, just move that to a different. Okay, great. We are so back. All right, Alex, please
Okay.
name the player. Oh my goodness.
All right, I know he's in. I'm just trying to remember what were some of his best seasons here because I know
Alright.
that he barely made the qualifier that he's in the game.
I'm getting cooked here. I can't delete the search bar.
And that's Jorge Posada. He's in the game, but like just barely.
Okay, what season?
What year?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Here. I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with 2002.
2002. Solid year. He was an all-star that year. That'll net you. Well, we'll just do the scores. That nets you 4 WAR. All right, Alex, your next player, your first baseman, a maximum of 30 home runs that season.
A maximum of 30 home runs that season.
Wow.
Correct.
Okay.
So 30 home runs is fine.
Ooh.
27 is fine, but can't be more than 30.
Dang, that's actually really tough.
Yeah, for first base.
Especially
So
for first base.
I'm not going to give you the no insert player names because I don't want you
Yeah.
guys to brick.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of first basemen that are not necessarily power guys here. That's still like really good seasons. I'm not coming up with a whole ton of them. Okay. I'm gonna go full homer here, and I don't care. I am going to go with Ty France 2023.
Ty France 2023. All
That
right,
was his all-star
interesting
year.
choice.
So
Ty France, 12 home runs, so he's good.
I legit could not think of any other ones.
All right. Mac, same question to you, sir.
All right. I'm going to go with the guy that I was expecting Alex to take, John Olerud. I'm going to go 1998.
All right.
That's
what
really
year
good
was the Posada you chose, Alex?
2002.
All right. Just put those in for the sake of completeness. So you would like 98 Olerud.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Like that a lot.
Shout out to Derek Barton. He had like a 5.5 win season.
Correct.
Nice.
All right. John Olerud, 7.6 WAR there. Mac.
Nice.
All right. Your second baseman, American Leaguer only.
American Leaguer only?
Yeah, for that season. So you're only allowed to pick American Leaguers.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, but in that specific season.
Correct. So if they played 1 year in the American League and 17 years in the National League, that's fine.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. Give me trying to go. Ooh, man, this is tough. Give me Robinson Cano.
Dang it!
2010.
All right.
That's exactly what I was gonna pick.
2010, Robbie Cano, a 8.1 WAR
I was gonna say
season.
that was the year he was MVP. I think third.
Okay.
All right, Alex.
Trying to remember what year this was because I want to go Dustin Pedroia.
Okay.
But what year was it? I'm going to say it's 2012.
2012, Dustin Pedroia. Fair answer, 5.1 WAR.
Okay. I couldn't remember if that was the year he got hurt.
All right, Alex, I'm going to make this real easy for you. Mike Schmidt seasons at third base.
Okay.
So you got the player, you got to give me the year.
Okay. I'm trying to remember actually the amount of time that he was like what years he was playing between.
I'll be fair. 1972 to 1989.
Okay, we're gonna go with 79.
79. All right, that's a 7.9 for you.
Nice.
All right, Mac.
All right, I'll go with the World Series year then, 1980.
1980. That was a major league leading 8.9 WAR.
I had a feeling that I believe that was his best year.
No, 1974, 9.7 WAR.
What?
Yeah, crazy. All right, Mac, your shortstop, National Leaguers only.
National Leaguers only. Okay. Correct. Oof. Now
Don't disappoint me.
Now I've got to do some thinking. When I think of the best shortstops, a lot of them are in the American League. I'm just to save time. I'm going to go with a bit of a homer pick. I'll go Francisco Lindor 2024.
Francisco Lindor 2024. That is a nice 6.9.
Nice.
All right, Alex.
All right.
National League shortstop.
National League shortstop here.
Don't disappoint me.
I'm going to disappoint you. Because the guy I wanted to say I'm realizing is a third baseman, although I like to play him as short and other things. Here. I'm gonna go Hanley Ramirez.
Okay.
Here. And I'm trying to remember what was like the really good year for Hanley.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say it was 2011.
2011. You probably should have gotten a brick there. 0.2.
Ugh.
I was at a game in 2011 where Ramirez like busted his shoulder trying to make a diving catch. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to be real. I could not remember. I was like, Lindor was going to be my pick again.
He had a couple, he had a 6.5 in 08, 7.5 in 09. Even had a good year with the Dodgers in 2013. So, all right,
Fair enough.
Alex, back to you. Your left fielder, anyone but Barry Bonds.
That was gonna be my pick.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna go 2004 Manny Ramirez.
Manny Ramirez. All right, fun name. 2004 Manny Ramirez, 4.1 WAR.
What? Oh, damn, that would have been a lot higher.
Unfortunately, not very good defensively. Although
I'm
he
sure
did have
Talking
a
about, didn't he high five someone in the stands?
That was no way.
yeah, we'll go
Yeah.
with that. Negative 13 fielding runs. All right, Mac,
pretty
no
good.
Barry Bonds.
No Barry Bonds. There are a number of people I could go with, but I'll go with his NL West counterpart from 2001, Luis Gonzalez.
Luis
I know
Gonzalez.
another not great defender, but excellent hitter.
Yep, that would be a 7.9 WAR for you.
That's
I'm getting
honestly higher
cooked.
than I
Guys,
expected.
I'm getting cooked here.
All right, your center fielder, not American.
Not American.
Not American.
So Puerto Rico counts as not American.
If it's US, or if there's an American flag on there, it doesn't work.
All right. Well,
Lindor is fine.
All right.
For example.
I'm gonna play the homer card again and go 2006 Carlos Beltran.
All right. Carlos Beltran, 8.2.
Yep.
Nice.
Alex?
Yeah, at this point right now, like I'm just gonna keep playing homer card too here. I'm going to just say 2025 Julio Rodriguez.
2025 Julio. That's the best Julio season so far. 6.8. By the way, 8.2 is the highest. Is tie between Beltran and Andrew Jones.
I was close to guessing Andrew Jones. So.
All right, your right fielder Alex must be an LAR player.
So like
Braves, Mets, or
okay, cool. Yeah,
Mariners.
that's easy. I'm taking 2001 Ichiro.
Ichiro, good choice. One AL MVP. 7.7 WAR for Ichiro.
Nice.
Ooh, okay.
I had look. Thank you for at least giving me that one. I needed it.
Yes. All right, Mac.
So wait, it has to be like
a Met,
they played
Brave, or Mariner.
Like in the particular season that we select.
Correct.
All right. Well, I believe he was playing right field by this point. Give me 2023 Ronald Acuna Jr.
My king, my glorious, glorious king. This is the correct answer. 8.4.
Okay, I figured it.
I mean, I had to get Ichiro. It's me. So.
That's true. All right, your utility spot must be a player who played catcher that season, but as a secondary position.
As a secondary position?
Oh no, that's gonna be tough. Okay.
There is a correct answer here. Unfortunately, I don't trust either of you to get it, but there is a 10 WAR season available.
What?
10 WAR season?
There's a 10 WAR season available. I will give you a hint. He won the World Series that year, too. As a manager as well.
Okay,
as a manager.
As a player manager for that team.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
When you say like secondary position, does it have to be another position, like playable position as the first one? Or could it be DH and catcher?
I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Wait, you said it was the 10 WAR season happened as a player manager?
Yes.
I think I know who it is then because I know he's a shortstop.
Okay,
but
Matt, can you pull it out?
He had a 10 WAR season as a shortstop and won the World Series in 1948. Lou Boudreau.
Yes, my glorious, glorious king. What a pull. Sorry,
I know he was a catcher.
Yeah, 10.4 WAR. He played.
That was the only player. Yeah.
In 1948, he played a whopping one game behind the plate.
I was going to say that was the only player manager I could think of that put up remotely.
All right, Alex. Any guesses?
Do you think I can follow up that? What the hell, man? I mean, okay.
You want to pick? You can pick a different Lou Boudreau season. That's okay.
Lou Boudreau, 49, I guess.
He did not play catcher that year.
47 then.
Yeah, he did play catcher that year. He was an all-star that year. So I'll give you that one. No brick. Lou Boudreau, 7.3 WAR.
So he was
Alex,
still good.
Yeah, that's good. Your first pitcher must be before 1950.
Before 1950?
Yes.
Okay. Let's. Ooh, okay, that doesn't work. Okay. I know who I want to go with. I'm just trying to figure out what year.
Yeah, are you trying to figure out what Jamie Moyer year it is?
Yeah, no, because I know he pitched back in 1728. So I'm trying to figure out like how far from there that we go with here. No, I want to go Walter Johnson.
Ooh, okay.
But I'm trying to
choice.
remember the actual years that he played.
I will say Walter Johnson had a year with 14, a year with 15. So if you can pull one of those, you're right back in the thick of it.
Okay, so now I'm just like, okay, what years did he play? So he was in. I'm gonna go with 1910.
Good answer. A 10-war season.
Let's go.
Good answer. Good answer. All right, Mac. No Walter Johnson, but a player before 1950, a pitcher before 1950.
I mean, he could take Walter Johnson, just a different year.
I'm banning that for the sake.
Yeah, I'm not.
It was okay with Boudreaux because that's like he had the top like 8 seasons, but there's enough pitchers that you should be able to do it.
All right, I believe this was the right year. Smokey Joe Wood, 1912.
All right, Smokey Joe Wood, 1912. That is a 10-win season.
Yeah, he won like 34 games. So
wow,
for the Red Sox,
that'll play.
Yeah.
All right, your second pitcher must be left-handed.
Must be left-handed. Randy Johnson, 2001.
Ooh, that is a spicy one. Is that the best Randy Johnson season? No, but it is a 10-win Randy Johnson.
In my opinion,
season.
it is. But
I mean, you're just right. That is the best one, but not.
Well, he did it in October too. That helps.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Alex must pick a lefty.
Okay, yeah, this one's actually pretty easy for me because I remember this one here. I'm gonna go with Clayton Kershaw, 2014.
Clayton Kershaw, that's his MVP season.
Kershaw, yeah.
Is that his best WAR season? No, but it was very close. 8.1 and 13. 7.7 though is a solid effort in 2014. And Alex, your final pick is a pitcher has to have at least one relief outing.
In that season?
Correct.
That's actually tough because the first names that came to my mind became relievers or became starters again here. Like, because I'll tell you right now, but the first names that came to my mind were Smoltzy and Maddox. Because Maddox also did some relief work.
You can choose just a reliever. That's fine. It doesn't
that's
have to be
a fair point. I could just.
It doesn't have to be someone that started games, but the best answers would be someone that had like one relief outing, like the Randy Johnson season. Yeah, that he had like a 15 strikeout relief outing. Call it 2001. That would count. He had 34 starts, one relief appearance.
I'm trying to think of just pitchers that didn't that it wasn't just like random, like when they did. I don't know why the only name that's coming to my head is Sasashi Iwakuma, and I'm like, that's not a good answer here. Why is Sasashi Iwakuma the only name that's coming to me?
Hey, he did lead the American League in WAR one season.
Okay. Here's the thing. I know what my answer is. I just don't know the year.
Oh boy.
Here, because my answer is Babe Ruth. Here, who came in relief famously once. Here.
Famous pitcher Babe Ruth.
Yeah, he was a pitcher.
Yes.
I don't have it. I'm probably gonna get a brick here, but I'm gonna go with 1908.
That's a brick. He was not in Major League Baseball yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, was that too? Was that too?
Yeah,
young?
too early. Yeah.
He was only born 20 years later. Like, crap.
Yeah. Did you know that 5-year-old Babe Ruth, best pitcher in the world?
I mean, look, I feel like you would still get some of today's hitters out.
Sure.
All right.
Alex,
so do I
again?
Oh yeah, you can guess again. I guess.
Oh, I can guess again.
You can do a different Babe Ruth season if you want.
Okay, here I'm gonna cheat lightly and just find the years that he played.
He pitched 1914 to 1933.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go 1920.
1920 is also a brick. He only pitched one game. He started that game, so second brick for you.
Dang. I can't make the joke I was gonna make.
And yeah, he also was negative WAR that season pitching.
Okay, I know I was not lightly cheating at that point. I didn't have enough time to lightly cheat. The lightly cheat was going to be just googling what years he played. Not even what were the.
All right, 1914 to 1919. Pick a year.
1914.
1914. That will also be a brick, but unfortunately for you, the brick is just a negative WAR for him. So he had negative 0.3 WAR. He did make a relief outing though.
Okay, we'll take it.
Right.
1, 2, 3 bricks. You're out of the trivia.
All right, Mac, wrap us up here.
All right, 2018 Blake Trinan.
Blake Trinan.
He had a monster season.
Why didn't I just pick a reliever at that point?
Dude, yeah, I don't know.
All right, I'll tell you what. Give me to get. Hold on, go back to me. Let's go with 2020, 2021 Edwin Diaz. No.
All right, so 4.4 WAR for Trinan. All right, good job, everybody. Mainly good job to Mac.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That would be a result. Ooh, I butchered that. What's going on here? Oh, I never summed it. 58 WAR for Alex.
Or 59.8.
59.8. 98.9 for Matt.
Wow.
I almost got laughed. Jeez.
Yeah, so your best pick was a Walter Johnson season, 10.4 for Walter Johnson. Mac had 3 straight 10 WAR seasons back to back to back. Going crazy.
I know ball.
There.
What can I say?
Yeah. A tough Ty France, 0.9, and a tough Hanley Ramirez, a 0.2 for Alex. Otherwise, there's a lot of close years. The Schmidt years were pretty close. The Ichiro is a good pull. I think that's probably second, unless you want to go Hank Aaron year, but that's risking you getting a double brick, giving if he played left field, for example, or first base.
He was mostly right field, I thought.
Yeah, well, yes, but
Later
for example, Babe Ruth has the number 1 left fielder season, but all of the other seasons are right field. So you can try to guess the left field season, but you might get a couple bricks.
That's fair.
So I'm surprised no one went 1967 Carl Yastrzemski. That would have been a 12.5 WAR.
Oh my God! Yeah.
So all right, good job, Mac. Good job, Alex. Good job, everybody.
Thank you, Splash. That was a fun segment. We should.
I was right to be scared.
We'll do a shorter one next time.
Anyway, it's time for the last segment of every show, which is the moment to ourselves. 60 seconds to talk about whatever the heck is on your mind. So, Splash put his hand up first, so you'll go first. Let me just get my stopwatch real quick. All right, your timer starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm not one to tell someone how to be a fan, but if you were in Tyler Loop's mentions Sunday night wishing him and his family ill, you're not a Ravens fan. You're a scumbag. You're not a fan. You're not welcome here. Go find a new hobby.
Absolutely.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Look, he's no matter how hard you are on that human being, there's nobody that's going to get harder on him than himself. Give him a break. Seriously. Like, I understand it sucks, but it's a game at the end of the day.
Yeah. Also, I'll say this much. He's a real pro. The fact that he went out and answered questions after a moment like that, I think he's a true professional.
Absolutely.
Did you guys see the AI clip of the Baltimore beat reporters beating him up afterwards?
Oh God, yeah, I did.
That was admittedly funny. Maybe I'm laughing instead of crying, but that was funny. But man, that was.
Yeah,
I was following along on the paper aisle at work, and my FanDuel stream wasn't working, so I was. I was on FanDuel, but the video wasn't loading, so I didn't actually see him miss it. I just saw the odds cut out. Oh, and the score went final. It's like he missed.
I was wondering if you were going to be if you were at work or if you were watching it all.
Well, I saw the second Flowers touchdown. And I went ballistic, screaming bloody murder.
I'll say From my perspective, I scared the hell out of my cats after the last play. But anyway, Alex, do you want to go next or should I
Yeah,
go
let's
next?
do it.
All right. Your timer starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm gonna talk about Pokemon because I love Pokemon. Pokemon Legend ZA is legitimately one of the best Pokemon games that has ever been released. I know there's a lot of backlash with it. I know that there are a lot of other issues here that people don't like about it here. I'm here to say that you're wrong and this game is great. Here, like I already have nearly 250 hours in the game here, but legitimately, I love what they did. The story was fun. The new battle mechanics, so much fun. Shiny hunting, very, very fun. Like, no, legit, I have trouble putting it down at this point. Like, and especially with the DLC here of the Mega Dimensions, it just adds even more playability to the game here after, the main story has been done for a while. Now, it has been so much fun. I don't know if I want to do a second playthrough of it here just because it does go kind of slow at times and it is definitely better on your initial discovery of everything. But no, it was it's an incredible game here, and if you have not tried it yet, go and try it. Just have fun. Go in with an open mind here. Choose Tepig, the best starter, and of the three. And thank me later.
Maybe I should download that.
You should.
Yeah, I've been meaning to do that, but I've just been distracted by the fact that I have a PS5 now.
Yeah, here's the thing. That's the other thing is that you have a PS5 and MLB The Show to get absolutely destroyed in. So
I did force my first rage quit yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. All right.
By the way, shout out to any of the people in the Big Boys League I'm in currently. Shout out if you're listening.
All right. Someone count me down.
Yep. Your time begins in 3, 2, 1, begin.
Yeah, I just want to say it's a tragedy that the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette is going to shut down on May 3rd. This is a prominent newspaper. Even me not being from Pittsburgh, I get a lot of news from the Post-Gazette. I've been to Pittsburgh a number of times. I think it's sad for the city. This was their number one newspaper. They have a public responsibility to inform the public, keep everyone in the know of what's going on in the city, what's going on in the country. And sad for the newspaper industry, the fact that another publication that's been around for more than a century is closing its doors. So disappointed, feel bad for all of their employees, some great sports writers, Noah Hiles, Jason Mackey, they do great work. Some of my favorite follows, honestly. So yeah, I just think it's disappointing. I hope their employees get other opportunities because like I said, I think they do great work, sports side, news side. So yeah, it sucks, but unfortunately it's what had to happen.
Yeah, it's never a good scene watching, reporters get taken down or anything like that. So it's not a good time at all.
All right. Well, that does it for us today. Our first live show for a while. So yeah, that's maybe this is something we do more often going forward. Mac,
I think this is your first live show in
probably since the summer. Trade deadline.
You did the one with Alex, the backyard baseball one.
Yeah, well, no, we did the trade deadline one. That was this year.
Okay,
there was
the one I remember was only Alex and I. Maybe that was 2024.
I remember 2025. The three of us got on. I remember it was the week before I left for Washington, so that was.
Gotcha.
I remember doing that.
1 year we did it just Alex and I.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah, I remember that year as well.
I don't remember what year that was.
That was 2024 that we did that. 2025 this year.
Was I?
And then the World Series was Jack, not Mac.
Yeah. Was I away in 2024?
We just replaced the M with the J.
Oh wait, yeah, 2024. I was in Japan. I am going to Japan again in the middle of March, so
nice.
I'll be out there. But yeah, so there will be a couple weeks that you may be stuck with just these two gentlemen. But make sure to follow all of us on Twitter. Make sure to follow me at Matthias_A_K. Follow Splash at Mr. Splashman19. Follow Alex at Sports Guy 242. Follow at LAR_baseball on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Smash that like button. Leave a comment. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Make sure to subscribe to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to leave a 5-star review. But for all of us at LAR, thank you all for listening. Stay safe, and I hope to see you all real soon.
Go crazy, boys!